Can you just take us through the market performance on Friday? As I said, a nice rally for the LUSC on the back of some weak performance that we have seen as of late.
Yeah, well, Friday was obviously a positive day, so it's quite a bit of activity, and we had sort of a bad stretch previously with Zambia Sugar, which accounts for a large proportion of the movement in the index, and with strength in other areas, we've seen the rally continue in a sense.
Now looking at British Petroleum, which is now Puma Energy, that stock has really had a strong rally, 266% up this year. Now we know that Puma Energy has now bought out BP shares in a number of African countries, applied to the Securities and Exchange Commission to not have to make an offer to the 25% rather, minority shareholders that are still with those stocks still listed on the exchange. With the stock rallying more than 260%. Is this an indication that shareholders are anticipating a higher price and that they will have to buy out those 25% shares?
Yes. What tends to happen is when a mandatory offer is made, it needs to be on the same terms as with the majority shareholder. So, well, the price was hovering around 300 and it's now 1,170. So it's a significant increase, but that's likely on the back of expectations that the pricing is going to be in that range. It usually doesn't divert far from where it closes at. Also, interestingly, Puma posted excellent results this year, or last year rather, increasing profits by 71%. And that's mostly because of mitigating an exchange loss situation they've had in previous years. Sustainable might be different, but it will be interesting to see what the SEC comes up with regarding the mandatory offer.
Now, given the problems that Zambia Sugar has had with its debt, that stock has really been penalized there, but they have been growing their top line. They're also in a good cash position. What are your thoughts? Is there upside potential given the fact that the stock is down 36% for 2011?
Yeah, well, Zambia Sugar is a bit interesting. They had a significant growth, which was largely expanded with expensive and relatively short-term debt. So there's a situation whereby in the short term they're pretty much squeezed for cash and they have significant financial obligations. Just last year, approximately, their cash flows would have to increase their cash flows fivefold for them to be able to meet the obligations that they had. They've seen a bit of restructuring. It's still not very convincing. It could be better. And for Zambia Sugar, the case is that in the medium term, it might be very difficult for them profitably and also to pay out dividends, which tends to affect the share price here. But over the long term, given that they have expanded fairly significantly, once that problem, in a sense, the financial side is sorted out, it might actually be one of the best performing going forward.
Let's move on to the first mining company that's listed on the Zambian Stock Exchange, First Quantum, listing its depository receipts last week, Wednesday. How have those stocks performed?
Yeah, First Quantum on its third day of trading was up 56%, which is fairly significant. Depository receipts at a ratio of 1 to 140 relative to the shares listed in Toronto. And effectively, if you compare the two, the depository receipts and the price in Toronto, the price here is 44% higher approximately as at Friday, which is fairly significant. And I think there are various reasons for that, but primarily because there was a minimum subscription of about $10,000, which was later reduced to about $5,000. There was a lot of pent-up demand. So we're seeing small trades, but at higher prices. So it's probably not going to be sustainable going forward, but we expect a certain level of parity, at least in the medium term, with what it's trading at in Toronto.